this on?
You're on now.
Oh, on?
No.
Can it now?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Cindy. I felt definitely from the moment we connected that recognition. We know each other, and we're meant to, our journeys are so interconnected. So it feels so good to be in this community. We're pretty new in this area, in Ocala, and really coming to the center gave us this sense of home. And it's so nice to be here with all of you. So today, I want to share with you, as Cindy shared, on this journey that we are on, how to understand our emotions. We are emotional beings. And so often, emotions are looked at as something to avoid, or it's a bad thing to push away, to get rid of. But we are going to look at emotions as our friends and our ability for us to experience life in the fullest of possible ways and experience that lightness of being and that light as we embrace all emotions, all of them. And we will learn how to heal emotional wounds, and there will be some practices that we will do today, specifically tools that you will feel more empowered. And my hope for you is that today, just like Cindy shared, that you will walk away feeling inspired. We will take some gems of wisdom and hopefully a tool to practice on your own every day. And how to learn how to use emotions that lead us to feeling more resilient. We all traveled through pretty intense things, and the world is going through intensity. And the more tools we have to learn how to be resilient and how to know that the things on the outside don't sway us away and push us around, so we can really hold our stability and travel light and feel internally that we are stable and that we know how to navigate and move through life with more grace and more resiliency. So that's our goals or our intention for today. And I want to redefine confidence, because the theme that I wanted to pick in alignment with emotions is confidence. And what I mean by confidence is to know, just like in that image, that you are an electromagnetic being. You are the expression of source. And when you are fully aligned with the source energy that you are, we all are, you know and you embody in the depth of your being that you are free. You know that you are powerful. You know that you are expression of love. You know that you have value and that all is well. That deep inner knowing gives you that feeling of confidence. No matter what life presents to you, when you are fully aligned and connected to source, even if you're going through emotions and things are changing, but when you know deep inside and able at will to come back to that alignment again and again, then nothing can really sway you, nothing can take you away, nothing can break you, right? How many of you feel like it would be amazing to have to be a master of your emotions? Yes. And how many of you feel like sometimes there are times in your life when emotions knock you over? Yeah, we all experience that. That's why, and I feel deep in my being, that's why I started Confident Healer Academy, is because I feel that we all need to learn these tools from the moment we're born, from in kindergartens. And then we're not taught these tools, how to really be with our emotions, how to be with our feelings, how to be in our bodies, and how to move through life in the way that we were born into this life. Feeling confident like a child. A child is born with innate confidence and ability to feel sad when the child is sad, ability to feel angry when they don't have their needs met, ability to cry, ability to feel enormous joy, and this is our full spectrum. And that's what, as adults, we're learning is how to come back to this full spectrum living, where we don't compartmentalize ourselves, that this is acceptable and something is not acceptable. So we want to be at this whole being. That's when we are becoming the channel for the source energy to move through our bodies and to bring light into the world, to share our gifts with the world, to bring healing to the planet. So, who is up for really reclaiming your power, your love, your peace, your value, and knowing that all is well? Yes. Okay, so we are traveling the journey. I was really inspired by that visual, the journey, because it has twists and turns, and I want to share a little bit why I stand here and my Shiro's journey, like I say, the journey that we all come. We start at home, and then we go through dramas and traumas, and then we come around and bring it into the world, everything that we've learned along the journey. So where I started, this is a picture of me first when I was in kindergarten. And I wasn't very happy. I was, on the back of that picture it says Yulia, the first day. That was the first day in kindergarten. And already by that age, I somehow picked up this condition that there is something wrong with me, that I am somehow broken. And I felt different, I felt isolated. I remember that first day I was already hiding. That was the pattern I had, hiding and feeling like I don't belong here. Nobody can understand me. I felt suppressed, depressed, sad, and alone. Who can relate to any of this? Yeah. And this is not how I was born. Somewhere along the way, by the age I was, I don't know, 3? I think 3, I was already somehow begin to identify with that condition, that there's something wrong with me and that I'm broken. And that led me to all of these emotions: shame, fear, sadness, chronic depression, social anxiety, feeling like I couldn't be with people, and jealousy. And the thoughts that were running through my mind were, there's something wrong with me, nobody understands me, I have to hide my feelings, I have to suppress my emotions, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable. And the patterns, so you can see there's emotions, there are thoughts that are running through the mind, and then the patterns that reflect that belief and the emotional foundation that was inside, that I have to hide, I have to try to people please. So if I please others, if I be super nice, then maybe they will love me. Maybe they'll accept me, because I don't know how to accept myself. And feeling like I had to work and try really, really hard. That led me all the way to a PhD in the field that I didn't care about. I was just trying to please my parents, because they were scientists, and growing up in the Soviet Union, that was the norm. I had to just follow my parents' footsteps and go for a PhD in biochemistry. And I remember finding myself in that lab, where it was the most prestigious labs in the field of diabetes. We were developing drugs to treat diabetes. And I was feeling like the stupidest person in that lab. I already was about 15, 20 years of research career by that point. But I was dreading every moment that I had to go to the meeting with my boss. Because deep inside I felt like I don't have anything to contribute, and everybody's judging me. Everybody's judging me. Everybody is gonna see how flawed I am, that they will find out. And I was hiding in that lab. And I remember there was a moment where I was walking on that campus, and I saw there was a sign on the main building, Union building, that said, Argentine free class, Argentine tango. And I just remember the feeling. What I remember, it was the feeling. Here I was, just walking. The only path I knew was from my apartment to the lab and the library. I was just walking. And here I caught in the side of my eye, Argentine tango. And something inside, there was a feeling inside that, like just something, like there was a feeling of lightness, that feeling of hope, possibility. And I remember just intuitively going towards that sign, and I walked into that class, and there was a class, and I remember just little by little starting to feel my openness, more open in my heart. And that led to the whole journey of finding yoga, where I just started coming alive, where there was a feeling of lightness returning, and feeling not caring whether people judge me or whether it's something wrong with me. There was just a feeling that was started to guide me, little by little, day by day. And then that led to me flunking my PhD, and that was devastating, but it was the best thing that happened, because that led me to finding my path, little by little, just finding, recalibrating by listening to that feeling. That feeling never lies to us. That feeling when we come alive and feel this, something is good, it feels good. It feels, I feel alive, I feel vibrant. So from there on, I just decided to, I was possessed. I became possessed with learning all kinds of energy medicine, finding coaches, finding mentors, hiring mentors, and taking every certification on the planet to learn those secrets that I could feel there's something there, that I need to learn this, because I didn't learn it in my home. I didn't learn it in school. All I learned in school was you just have to have good grades and follow this road. And when I stepped outside of that conditioning, there was a lot of judgment coming from my family. I had to face all those judgments. You're gonna just go off you're just gonna off the road. You're gonna get into cult. I remember my mom was trying to get me do anything possible to get me not to come back to the Amrit Yoga Institute, which is why we're living here now. So I'm sharing this story with you because I know how many of you can relate that there's this journey of finding yourself. We're all on that journey, because somewhere along the way where we forget who we are and forget our truth and start believing in the conditioning. And there were some traumatic events that happened that suppress us and put us into a box. And we try to fit that box and be very small. But then there comes a moment where we feel, no, I don't fit that box anymore. I need to free myself from all those, first of all, limiting beliefs and conditioning in my own head and in my body. Because what had to happen was a lot of clearing in my body. There were a lot of blocked energy in the body that was stored, that was connected to those limiting beliefs, like shame, feelings of shame and hiding and trying to be perfect, which is impossible to be perfect. So once I got a lot of that clearing, there came a moment where I felt an inspiration. There was a call, just like you, Cindy, you invited you to want to come and talk. And there was an invitation to be on that stage. And I haven't mentioned yet, speaking publicly was my worst fear. I actually taking one-on-one speech class in college. This is real story. I passed out. I fainted in front of the whole class because I was that terrified of being judged and being wrong and being criticized, and that I'm stupid. Everybody's gonna see I'm stupid. See, and this was self-fulfilling prophecy. And once I've been on this journey for a while, and I knew that there's whatever the fear is, I have to move towards it. I can't turn around. If there's a fear, this is a possibility to move towards it, because on the other side, there's freedom. On the other side of fear is freedom and bigger you. There's a bigger you waiting for you on the other side of any fear. So I said yes to being on that stage. And here, this was the truth of my heart, was the story that I was sharing, and it was the talk on the theme of signs and synchronicity. And the most ironic thing is that on this picture, these are my parents and my sister and brother-in-law in the audience. And the beautiful thing that they came, but at the end of the talk, they silently walked away. And for me, the lesson was that it didn't matter. It didn't matter. My dad was asking all like, what is the signs and synchronicities? It's total BS. Is it scientifically proven? Those were the questions he was asking me. But it didn't matter. For me, it's all about really moving towards the fear and being myself authentically. How many of you relate that it's more valuable to be authentically yourself than getting somebody's validation and approval? Mm-hmm. Yes. And once I realized that I don't have to be ruled by this fear, but I am guided by the desire to serve. I realized that I cannot allow myself to stay in any box. When my heart is big enough and open enough to have a desire to serve as many people as I possibly can in this lifetime, how can I focus on this little me, little self, and stay in the restriction and feel the limitation? So those are some of my students at the Tibetan Center in Bloomington, Indiana. And thanks to really moving through that fear and saying, yes, I'm not gonna let that conditioning, there's something wrong with me, dictate the rest of my life. I'm gonna move through it and allow myself to trust that there is a bigger guidance. There's a divine assignment. How did you say divine? Appointment. Divine appointment, why we all came here into this lifetime. So whatever challenges that you might have been facing, whatever fears were yours that kept you from fully allowing your light to shine, I just want to inspire with my own story that for you to move towards the fears is really the biggest gift that you can give to yourself, is to embrace the fear and feel. And we're going to do an exercise today to feel and allow yourself to let the energy that you are transmute the fear and bring it into a greater gift for you and for humanity. So I want to give this definition of confidence from the internal family systems. The confidence means to heal, to have healed from previous traumas and learned from previous failures to such a degree that their effect no longer is having on your present moment. So for me, yes, the word trauma, the reason why I was feeling that there's something wrong with me, of course it was trauma. I had birth trauma when I was born. There was a lot of trauma that created that conditioning. But when we heal enough through our traumas, then that past is no longer determining how we are living our present. We're no longer having that PTSD from the past, and we are able to clear. And that's why we need to do this in our bodies. I'm all about embodiment in our Confident Healer Academy, in the processes reclaiming our power and confidence. It has to happen inside the body. We have to learn how to feel, and that's how we can heal. We cannot heal unless we are willing to feel it. So how do we heal? Here's the number one key, is the breath. I see you already taking deeper breaths. Yes. So this is number one key, and as a breath therapist, breath is everything. And I could feel, Cindy, as you started guiding us in the beginning, I came feeling very nervous. And as soon as you started guiding us to that place, let's just breathe. Everything settles. There's a greater sense of ease. All is well. That all is well feeling. And breath is really, it's not just a physiological process, because breath is a key for connecting our minds with our bodies, with our emotions, and with spirit. Breath is that bridge that brings us into wholeness. It's a bridge that connects everything. Just yesterday we had a session and Michelle was dropping amazing wisdom about her realizations of breath and how much when we don't breathe properly, because majority, almost 100% of people don't breathe properly. We forget how to breathe. And when we don't breathe, all kinds of things happen. We sabotage ourselves. So the breath is also the connector between our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. Because consciously we are only aware of about 10%. Just like an iceberg, we are aware of only 10%. The rest of what's really guiding our life and how we're living, we're not aware of. It's down below our conscious awareness. And that is what is ruling our reality. That's what's creating all of those beliefs. A lot of them are limiting our full potential and expression in the world. So learning as a breath therapist, that's the number one key that I teach all of my clients and students, how to understand your breath and how to learn it as a healing tool. Not just breathe, but how to use the breath to go into the deeper unconscious, subconscious levels of your being, to heal all of those traumatic experiences so you can no longer be affected by the past. So yeah, this is Deepak Chopra's quote. The breath is not just implying the physical process of breathing. The breath is the junction between the body, emotions. It's what brings us into wholeness. I already said that. So let's just take a moment before we move on to feel the breath. And we'll do an exercise in a little bit. Just noticing your breath right now. Where are you feeling it? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Is it fast? Is it slow? You can keep your eyes open or closed, however it feels good for you. Is it regular or irregular? A lot of us have adopted some pattern of holding of the breath. That is reflected in the contraction of the muscles around the breathing. Notice where you feel your breath the most. Is it upper chest, lower chest, belly, throat? Where is the breath initiating? Where does it start? Just like a stone thrown into a pond, it sends ripples. Just notice, become aware. Where does it feel like your breath begins? Notice if there's any areas where you feel tight as you're breathing, if there's any places where it feels heavy, places where it feels light. Just an invitation for you to be an explorer of your breath. It's not pass or fail, just be aware. And your awareness creates an opening for deeper healing, greater opening of your gifts, connection to your purpose. If you have your eyes closed, you can open them. We'll have some more exercises with the eyes closed. So just for now, I would love if any of you would like to popcorn words or anything that you noticed about your breathing, just from this simple awareness. What did you notice? If anybody would like to share? I wanted to say from the beginning, the more we can interact and have a two-sided, I feed from your energy, and I also feel, where do we need to go next? So if you want to share.
Sitting up straighter makes me breathe better.
Nice. Great. So you noticed that sitting up straighter, the breath became better.
Because I have a pain in my back, so on this side. And so if I sat up straighter, I realized that pain is going away.
Amazing.
It brought images from my dream last night that I forgot. So
Interesting.
that was cool.
Yes. Yes, it brought images from your dream last night that you didn't remember until now. That's amazing. Yeah. That breath is exactly what I was saying. Breath brings up to the surface whatever is right below the surface and that you're not conscious of. Anything else? Yeah.
I used to, when I first learned how to deep breathe, I concentrated a lot on my stomach area. And, I've practiced moving it up and down, but it's been so long since I've done that. I didn't realize that I adapted breath to move up into my chest and back down again. It was just this thing. And when I realized it, I almost, my breath almost caught. I kind of got for a second, and I had to I don't know, it was really odd, but and I was I liked the fullness of feeling it all the way up through my chest and back down. But it was so almost weird and a sudden thought, that didn't used to happen, that I had to actually breathe through the thought. It was a bit of a relief.
It just happened within this
Yeah, it's just now.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing that you already have done a lot of reprogramming to learn deeper breathing. Yeah. Yeah.
When you start, because I notice especially if I'm more uptight, there's resistance. In the deep breathing, you feel the resistance until you start to relax. And with me, there's a lot of resistance in my chest. I try to.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, you notice when you start to deep breathe, there's a lot of resistance in the upper chest here and tightness. Yeah. I'll touch on some of these things in a little bit. Yeah. Anybody else want to share?
Your question about where does it begin and where does it end, that took me down a rabbit hole.
Interesting. What did you discover?
I'm just still in the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my mind started to activate with that, and I'm like, no, don't go to your mind. But it's a very good question.
Yes. Yeah, there's a beginning. Right. Yeah. So as I'll answer that for babies, or how natural, normal breathing, before all the preconditioning, before all we adapted conditioning to restrict our breath, it starts from here. It starts from here. It doesn't start from the nose. You don't start from the nose taking inhale. It starts from here, where your belly opens, allows your breath to come here, and then everything fills to the top. And we will do an exercise to experience that in a bigger way. Yeah. So I just want to invite, I feel some emotions. So allow yourself to feel emotions. This is a beautiful thing, to let yourself feel whatever is coming up, because we might feel some stirring today, and that's beautiful. Because what is coming up is for a greater healing. And what we suppress and don't want to feel, it rules our life in a way that we don't even realize. But it keeps us in misery. It creates suffering, what we put down and suppress. So just letting yourself feel and let energy move. Tears are very welcome. Crying is very, very welcome, because it's a beautiful release of energy that has been suppressed and pushed down. So here, restriction is the protective mechanism. When we restrict our emotions, when we restrict our breathing, it's a way to survive. We protect in order to, just like in that picture, when parents are arguing, the child feels like there's something wrong, I need to do something. And the belief starts to form, the limiting belief, there must be something wrong with me. I'm not safe. I'm not worthy. I did wrong. And when we have all those beliefs, it's connected to the emotions. And when we feel that there's something wrong and I'm not able to feel, we learn that mechanism of creating restriction, here or throat, and we push it down. I cannot feel this. I have to keep it down. How many of you, nobody experienced that here? Yes. So that's our journey, right? That's our journey, is how to free it up, how to live in this world more free. And it starts with freeing up your breath. When we free our breath, we free our life. We feel more at ease and in the flow, and feel lighter, traveling, journeying more lighter and enlightened, in light, being the light. So this is the diagram. So on the left, you've already seen that picture. When we learn how to master our breath, we move from surviving, because in the childhood, by suppression, that was the mechanism, very smart mechanism that helped us to survive. But now we're learning we can thrive, and the key is breath. Key is how to learn to use the breath to free us up from everything that we push down. And you see that this picture right here, it's from the book, The Energy Codes to Mortar. You see those, toroidal field, where energy is flowing with ease. It comes from the source. It moves through our body. Our body is like a channel, open vessel. The vessel where the energy is moving with free. And that's how when we feel freedom in the world, we can express our feelings. There's love flowing freely between the hearts. We can express our feelings. We share our gifts. And then this picture on the bottom right, that's when the breath is restricted and the muscles create some tension and tightness. And you can see there's this zigzag where the energy is not flowing with that free flow through the body. We have a central channel along the spine called in yoga called Shushumna. There's many other energy channels that when this energy is moving, but when it hits the block, something happened in the past where you felt like that's just too much for your system. It was too much to take. And we all had experiences where we couldn't fully process in the moment what was happening. So we learn how to ignore it or get busy. I'm just too busy to process it, to deal with all those feelings. I have life to deal with. And so we just put it into the some compartment. And where is it really? This is the compartment in our body. Our body stores it. It's either tightness in the belly where you feel like you're powerless, or you're trying to control life situations, and there's tightness in the belly, or restriction in the heart, or a lump in the throat, or it can show up as headaches, or migraines, or lower back pain, or anywhere in the body. It can show up as physical illness or dis-ease. when the energy is not freely flowing. So when we use the breath, that's what we're doing. We're little by little moving from here, from that zigzagging where the energy is bumping against some blocks inside of us, into releasing that block, and the energy begins to flow. And some of the signs that the energy is flowing, tears, or jerking, feeling like your body wants to shake. Yes, or your body wants to release in some way. Or it may be healthy channeling of anger. If you suppressed anger, it has to come out some way, in a healthy way. How many of you feel like anger is not accepted? It's a bad emotion. Yes, it's bad. You're not supposed to feel angry. Have anybody heard that? Don't feel angry. Don't be a nice girl. I had to be a nice girl. But anger has a purpose. Anger helps us create boundaries. Healthy boundaries, where we know what's right for us and where we know, no, that's not acceptable. And that's what the purpose of anger. So we're going to learn the first tool today. Those of you in the Confident Academy really know the conscious, connected, circular breathing. Circular, connected, conscious breathing. So it's a kind of breath, and this whole modality that I teach and the system that I use, it's both art and science. The art part of it is that you need to learn how to surrender to the process. Surrender to your breath. That's the key, is how to surrender to the breath. And how to learn to let go. Because we learn how to hold on and keep that energetically restriction in order trying to protect ourselves. But it's an outdated mechanism, it's no longer working. So we need to learn how to let go and surrender and let the energy flow again. And the science part is that there are very specific techniques, and we need to learn how to reprogram our thinking, thoughts, our patterns, and so we can direct our life in the way that we want, not in the way that we have been programmed unconsciously and don't want to move in that direction anymore. So the breath that we're going to practice today, it's going to be 10 minutes of circular, connected, conscious breathing through the open mouth. How many of you have experienced open mouth breathing as a tool for healing? Yes, great, wonderful. So the way we're going to first prepare ourselves and open up the lungs, and then we will do maybe 5-7 minutes of breathing through the open mouth. So go ahead and get your feet on the ground. And get comfortable, straighten your back. So you want to breathe, imagine that you're breathing up your back from your pelvis. You initiate the inhale from your pelvis and breathing up the back and out in front of you. So it looks like this. It might feel a little goofy at first, but trust me, hundreds of thousands of people have done this, and it's harmless, and anybody can receive the benefits from this breathing. It's amazing for lowering your stress levels, for reducing high blood pressure, for healing all kinds of illnesses, balancing your brain chemistry. It releases toxins from your body, releases toxic memories from your mind. So before we do the breathing, we'll do some stretching, also a little goofy. So go ahead and open your mouth. You can even do a little massage on your jaw. And then open your mouth and make a sound. To stretch your jaw, yes. There you go. And do it again. And you can just make faces, just kind of squish your face, move your mouth, cheek. Yes. All right. Yes. And I want to say this is a tool. That's not how we breathe through the open mouth. Day to day, going through our days, we want to breathe through the nose. But this is a very specific healing tool. And there is a protocol, if you want to adopt it, doing it twice a day for 10 minutes. It showed over 80% healing of anxiety and depression. If you do this protocol 10 times a day, twice a day for 10 minutes.
10 minutes each time.
Each time, yes. And oh, I'm gonna get my phone, so I wanted to do the app, exactly. Okay, so it has a specific rhythm because it reprograms. It's a way of releasing your control of the breath. And you want to breathe through the open mouth like this. And no pauses. This is really key, that there is no pausing between the breaths. We inhale on 5 seconds up and exhale on 5 seconds down. And just keep that visual that you inhale up your back and exhale out in front of you. Inhale up your back, exhale out in front of you. Before we go there further, let's take 3 breaths. We want to expand our lung capacity. Take a deep breath in. And take a little bit more at the very top. And hold. I see yawning. This is beautiful. It's a relaxation response. And whenever you feel ready, release. Push all the air at the bottom. And hold. Take another one. We'll do this 2 more times. Filling your lungs as much as you can. The biggest breath you've taken in years. Hold at the top. And exhale. Completely empty it out. At the bottom, push it, the excess air, and hold. Ready for the 3rd one? Go ahead. Filling all the way to the top. Exhale. Hold. And after this, I will play the music so you'll hear inhale and exhale. Hopefully it will come through the microphone. So follow that rhythm. And the key is just to keep that visual and let yourself move with ease. Inhale, filling up. Oh, let's try that.
So we don't get any words.
Yeah, let's try that.
Oh, it's yeah.
Yeah, great, thank you. So we'll do this together. The effort comes on the inhale. And exhale is completely effortless. You just let go on the exhale. Inhale brings in energy. Exhale, you let it go. And keep your mouth open, wide open. Try not to blow through your mouth, but keep the wide open mouth. If it comes naturally, just let it. If there are tears, whatever's coming, don't resist it. Release something in some way, just allow it. Allow whatever. There's no rules. What we're doing is activating an inner healing ability with the breath. Stay curious about your internal process, how this feels. Welcome every emotion, welcome every feeling that you're feeling. If your body wants to move, if it wants to stretch, just let it. Trust it. You are activating your inner trust. And your body's natural knowing of what you need. Now you can begin to close your mouth and continue breathing through your nose. Just notice how you're feeling. Maybe more open, maybe more relaxed. Maybe there is a layer of fatigue that became revealed that you were not aware of. When you're ready, if you haven't yet, you can open your eyes. How's everybody feeling?
Have a spot.
Like a spotting?
More heart open.
Anyone else? If there is sadness, there is no bad feeling. If you feel like there's a layer of sadness that came up, just know it's all perfect. Anybody else wants to share what came up for you?
More balanced, but also sleepy. I think I hit that level of exhaustion.
More balanced and also sleepy, feeling like tired. You want to take a nap now.
I seem to have a response that was different from everybody else because I relived trauma. Like when I was a kid, I used to have severe allergies and asthma, and
Oh, you got tissues?
yeah, like I think I was an adult the first time I was actually able to breathe through my nose, and I noticed that when I do breathe through my mouth, my breath is more shallow.
Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that. So yeah, just become, yes. So it brought up memories of when you were a child experiencing allergies because you couldn't breathe through your nose until you were an adult.
I couldn't breathe as fully,
Yeah.
breathing through my mouth.
Yes. Yeah. So know that this is a very powerful healing tool, and the art of that is to trust that whatever it brings up to the surface. Can you see in this moment that the reason why it came up is because there's a healer inside of you that was activated, that is ready to heal that traumatic asthma that you had when you were a child. And it might be hard, that's everyone who I know who goes through this process experiences, when we hit those places of remembering trauma or feeling intensity in the body, we want to say that, no, I don't want to have this. I want to keep it down. But the beautiful reassurance is the reason it's coming up is because there is a wisdom inside that wants to heal you from that memory in your childhood.
Which does not feel like that because, I mean, bringing this up makes it harder for me to breathe.
Yes. Yes.
Blow your nose.
Yeah, go ahead and blow your nose. Blow your nose.
But like when I have such strong emotions like this, it's hard to breathe.
Yeah. Right. Yes, exactly. It's very connected. You can see why the breath is so pivotal, because it's intricately connected to emotions. The breath brings up, when you're feeling emotions, it's hard to breathe. It's like it becomes this loop. When you feel intense emotions, the breath becomes restricted. And the more you're afraid of that breath being restricted, the more it brings up the emotions. So it becomes that loop, and it takes some practice, and I have to say it takes having somebody to hold space for you. I wouldn't do this on your own. I'm glad that right now we didn't do it very long in the group, but whenever I facilitate either group or one-on-one sessions of this deep healing, you won't be able to heal. People never are able to heal the deep levels of trauma on their own. There has to be a corrective experience that happens along with that, because it felt so like a dead end. It didn't feel like you could breathe through that intensity of asthmatic attack, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's why there is a way. Your body naturally wants to heal. We all have this innate wisdom. That body naturally wants to come back to a state of clear energy flowing through you. It has that innate ability, wanting you to return to that place of, and who knows, maybe this came because you were headed from very early age. Maybe it came from, if any of you believe in the past life experiences, it could have been something before this life, that you carried that traumatic experience and you were born. Or a lot of the traumas that I help my clients with happen in the womb, before we were even born. Something happens in the womb where we're like sponges, an early age up until 5 years old. That's when we sponge everything. We take on the energy of our mother, the energy of the environment we're in, and we begin to take this all in, believing that that's who we are, and that's our reality, but it's not our divine right. Our divine right is to be open, clear, whole, healthy on every level, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So thank you for sharing your vulnerability. I know it's very vulnerable, and for you to be here. And I see you're laughing, so yeah.
I have a lot of issues with my cough and my eyes watering a lot, and I found through this exercise with this deep breathing that my tears were just coming down my face, like uncontrollably, like I don't breathe enough, maybe.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Holding it.
Congratulations for allowing, and I see this a lot. And a lot of times there's not even an emotion connected to it, just tears
It was
releasing.
just tears.
Yeah.
And then I keep yawning right now.
Yes, keep letting it.
Keep going.
Keep letting, yes. Yes.
When I did it, I felt my shoulders really relax, and I had done a prana yoga experience before, and it seemed like the double breathing for me really helped me get there a little bit easier. Do you recommend that, or?
What you've done in prana
I
yoga?
did the prana, and I was able to go back and like see some childhood, feel some feelings. It was very powerful.
Just
I've
not
never
just in
done
this
it.
experience?
No, because I just did the single breath. But in this twice a day practice, if somebody's having trouble getting to their emotions, is the double breathing daily, is that a good idea? No.
That's a good question. So there are many, many different yogic breathing techniques, and pranayama in general is a science of controlling your breath. So for example, what you're speaking of is double breathing. So it's different. There are ways that you can control the breath, but what we're learning with the circular breath is the opposite of control, is release of the control. Because we all learn how to control. How to let go is the art that we're learning. And that's why having that circular, specifically kind of breath, and a lot of people that I know who've gone through different yogic trainings, including me, I learned pranayamas first. And that's all kinds of holding here and there, but until you learn how to release the control and relax the muscles around breathing, that can be counterproductive. Yeah, because no pauses, it creates a circuitry. It frees up energy. So that energy begins to become free to go wherever it's needed, whether it's releasing tears or shoulders relaxing or getting into emotional body and releasing emotions. Yeah. So I want to share with you, I don't know if I can play, let's try. This was a client of mine who had a lot of Jodi. She called imposter syndrome, which is a very common name nowadays. And she experienced a lot of anxiety. She's a life coach, a yoga teacher, Pilates instructor, a massage therapist, all of those things. But every time she had to go even see a client, she was operating on panic attack mode. And I taught her this breath and many other techniques, and we went through a pretty intense, but very gentle, supportive healing process. And she shared here, let me see if it will play. Maybe it won't play. Will it play?
Oh, they're doing it.
Yeah? Oh, cool.
I was suffering very heavily from imposter syndrome. I've also dealt with anxiety my whole life, and although I've been able to manage it and kind of push my way through life, there's always been this lack of confidence and this underlying fear. So like I would do things, but I would always do them with fear, like panic attack mode, and just push myself through. And I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I know the importance of having a life coach as being a life coach. So I signed up with Yulia, and it has been amazing, completely transformed my life in 3 months. So all of the work that I did for the past 20 years was helpful. The things that we did, the tools that she gave me, the things where we worked together, we inserted some messages in my brain and finally got them to stuck where my brain doesn't automatically recall negativity and fear. Now I have these messages of positivity and you can do it and stuff, and they just come up for me, and I never would have achieved that if I didn't work with you. I feel like a whole new person. It's almost like we took all the fear and pushed it out and put energy, light, and happiness in me, and it's amazing, and I can't wait to see where my life goes from here.
I'm so proud of it. It takes courage to do this, because I remember working with Jodi. Of course, the resistance comes up for everybody. I haven't seen any person, including myself, when there is something up for a greater healing, resistance comes up. And resistance is a friend, it's a fear. Resistance is a mechanism built in us that tries to keep us in that safe misery because it's familiar. And when we open to new possibilities in the ways that we can breathe that we haven't breathed before and express ourselves and be the light in the world and think in new ways, it's unfamiliar. So no wonder there's a resistance. And I love working with resistance because I know what's on the other side. It's like knocking on the door. Hello, are you gonna open? And then there's a moment. And the art of this process is there's a right timing for everything. And as a breath therapist, I always trust that your body, your being will not go until you're ready. And there is like, maybe you have to knock for a while, and there will be a moment when it opens. And there's an insight and revelation and life changes, life-changing experiences. I've worked with hundreds of clients, and I feel so humbled by the breath. This tool of the breath is, there's nothing more powerful than the breath. Because we can work on our mental, we can think about affirmations, positive affirmations, and say, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to be loving, I'm going to feel confident, whatever we say to ourselves, I will be at peace. But unless we go into the deeper levels, in the subconscious, we cannot change it from the mental level alone. And the beauty of this system that I use is because it works on every level. It works on emotions, it works on mental beliefs, it works on the spiritual level, and it works with the physical body, releasing all kinds of restrictions and pains in the body. Okay, so let's move on. We just did this. So that's another way that you can bring an intention or affirmation along with the breath. So we just did the breathing by itself. But the beauty about this practice is that you can insert what you want to let go of and what you want to plant in. So you can inhale, I open and expand. And I exhale, relax and let go. So you can really, there's many different ways that you can use affirmations and your intention of what you really want for yourself together with the breath. Okay, so let's look at the second key, using your emotions as the navigation key. How many of you felt like, why didn't life come with a manual, how to move through life? Well, it actually did. Your emotions is your manual. Your emotional well-being and ability to be in touch with your emotions is your navigation system. But many of us forgot it or put it aside because of the first key. We forgot how to breathe. A lot of times forgot it very early on, how to breathe properly. But when we open our breath, we become connected to our needs, we become connected to our emotions, and we can use them in a productive way. So here are some of the core, there are 5 core emotions. There are a lot of emotions, but these are the core. And the range goes, so the fear, anger, sadness, guilt, shame, and joy, happiness, bliss. So joy, happiness, bliss, it's an emotion, kind of like, but it's also who we are. It's our being. It's really our true nature. Bliss, joy, happiness. And the range of fear, it can start with anxiety, it's on the lower spectrum fear, and all the way to terror. It's on the intensity scale. The anger, frustration, it's the mild anger, and all the way to rage is the intense anger. The blue, feeling blue or melancholic, it's the mild sadness, and grief, it's the full spectrum of sadness. And shyness, it's the shame or guilt. And shame and guilt are 2 very different emotions. And many people are not able to distinguish them, how they feel in the body. Shame is connected to the belief there's something wrong with me. And guilt is connected to the belief I did something wrong. So it's very different. Shame, it's not natural to us. Shame, and there are all different ways that we heal this emotional wounding. We need to release anger, for example. We need to release shame. Shame is not natural. But guilt, in order to heal guilt, we need to do something to repair. If we believe that we did something wrong, we need to make an act of atonement to clear that energy. And sadness, a lot of us, how many of you feel like you can feel sadness easily? And how many of you feel like sadness is not very accessible to you? Okay, got it, yeah. And how many of you can feel anger easily? And how many of you feel like anger you have to hide? Yeah, me included. Yeah, used to, right? Yes. And how many of you are aware when you're feeling shame? Yeah. And how about guilt? You know, that feeling guilt. Yeah. And how about fear? How are you with fear? Are you easily able to feel fear, or you're afraid of the fear? Afraid of the fear. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, there's all kinds of ways that we heal in the processes that I guide, but we need to, first of all, be aware. That's the first key, is to be aware of what is it really that you're feeling. And the breath helps you to be more aware of where you feel it in your body, and what is that sensation? Because there's a sensation that comes with every feeling, every emotion. We are all energetical beings, and emotions is energy. And motion, energy that wants to move, energy that wants to be in motion. And our body, I see you breathing, some of you are, when we breathe, we allow this energy to move through the body. Energy moves. Our emotions are not meant to stay stagnant. They always want to move. And the only reason why they stay stagnant is because we suppress them. Oh my goodness, I had some, yeah.
We're so sorry we have to go.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
Yes, yeah, thank you for being here.
It's being recorded, so we can.
Can you contact you there?
Yes, yes.
It's on Facebook.
Okay. I thought that I prepared more than I had time for. We'll skip some things, let's see. We're gonna skip some things. But this is an emotional guidance scale from Jerry Hendricks, Esther and Jerry Hendricks, Hicks, Ask and It Is Given book. But it's a very well-known diagram where it starts at the bottom, fear, and it has the different vibrational frequency. You see, your emotions are indicators of where you are vibrational frequency. Whenever you're feeling shame or fear, depression, or powerlessness, that's at the bottom of the vibrational scale. And at the top of the vibrational scale is joy, bliss, happiness, compassion. The purple one below is passion. I don't know if you can see, it's a little blurry. I can read it. Enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness. Below it is positive expectations, positive opportunity, optimism, hopelessness, contentment. But we want to learn, and all the way down. So you can also see below insecurities, guilt, unworthiness. That's where it was, what I was describing when I was in childhood in that kindergarten. I was right there at the very bottom. And then jealousy is a little bit higher vibration. So and then anger, even higher vibration frequency. So we need to learn how to move up that scale. So not to look at, there's nothing wrong with any of these emotions, but we as conscious beings, we have the ability to move up our emotional scale. And every thought is connected to an emotional state. Every thought that we have has a counterpart of it is emotional vibration. And whatever we are experiencing, we can check with ourselves, where am I on that scale? And we have ability to move up that scale. The more positive, higher vibrational thinking thought that we have, that correlates to the higher emotional state. So there's an interesting, also from Esther Hicks' book and Jerry's book, that there's correlation to right about here, bad feelings, good feelings. That's where you release the resistance to manifesting what you're desiring. That's where resistance starts to lift. And then right around hopelessness, 6, so it's from 1 to 22, around 6, that's where your vibrational match to start to attract things that are really good for you, that you desire in your life. That's your match at the level of 6. And at the level of 4, positive expectation and belief, your desire is about to manifest. So that's when you're right there. And even higher, around between 3 and 2, that's where you're in the manifestation zone, where you are, that state when you are in the flow and everything that you want just kind of, okay, here and here, everything flows. And you know how you feel in that state. That's where you are, right around there. Passion, enthusiasm, and at the very top is joy, appreciation, empowerment, freedom, love. So I want to share, let's see how much time we have. We have about time. So I want to share one more inspirational story from one of my clients, Sharon, who I worked with. She was going through a divorce and was filled with all kinds of emotions that were very toxic, and she was just going through a lot. And years, really it wasn't about the divorce, but years of stuffing her emotions and not processing them for many, many years. And as we were working together, she was able to release a lot of that baggage, a lot of that gunk, and open her mind to new possibilities. And that allowed her to move to a completely new state and start her new career as a yoga teacher and really believe that she can start new life for herself. And I'm so proud of her for creating that life and being so courageous to go into the baggage and clearing out the internal closets. So I want to create a possibility for all of you to have an opportunity to experience a little bit of this magic. And what I see with women who I work with, when women allow themselves to receive the support that they know that they deserve, or men, I work with few men, very few men, but mostly women, that a few things happen. First is they realize that their experiences is not there alone. Just like with us being here together today, we could all see that this is human, to have all kinds of traumatic experiences and pains and traumas. But when we realize that that's really not about me, something magical happens, that we start to believe that I can heal just like others have healed in the past. I can be a bigger, more magnificent, more powerful expression of source that I was born to be. And then they start to learn how to really manage their energy and and be friends with their emotions, befriending all parts of themselves, and learning how to come to that beautiful place of wholeness. So I created space in my calendar to offer you confidence breakthrough session. It's a free offering that I have for you. Gabriel and I, my husband right there in the back, we are going to be traveling to Colorado tomorrow, but I opened my time next week to be able to take some of the this confidence breakthrough calls with any of you who feel like, there's something there for me. I would like to receive the next level of healing and opening and being available for my life and my community. So if you're feeling like there's something there, I invite you to, I actually have a slide. Open your phone right now, and you can take a picture, just point your camera to it. Yeah, you can do it right now. Yeah. You can just point your camera and it will open my calendar. Yeah.
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 It's got to be on photo mode.
photo. You just open your photo, and it goes straight to the calendar. And you can go ahead and check the time that works for you now. Yeah, technology is mind-blowing, right? I was thinking, how can I print first? Yeah.
Can I ask what the name of the app is with the music?
Oh, the music, it's called Breathe Plus.
Breathe Plus.
Breathe Plus, it's on iPhone.
Yeah.
On Android, it's a different kind of app, but on iPhone, it's Breathe Plus.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. You can go ahead. I will take a few moments. You can just choose the time that works for you.
Oh, I'm not scheduling.
Yeah.
After you take the picture, then what?
If you point your camera, it should bring up a link. Does it show a link?
You don't have to take a picture.
Oh, you don't take the
Yeah, you don't
picture.
have to take a picture.
Go back to your camera.
You can just use your camera.
I thought you said.
Yeah, and then it's like
And you hover over it and a link should pop up on your
Link
screen.
pops up. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's pin if you need it.
Your eyes look amazing there.
It's the ocean in the background,
Yeah.
reflecting or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Top of my head.
Where? Oh, up at the top. Gotcha. That says, no, it says 3 to 5, stay 3 to 5 feet from it.
So I have a few more inspirations for you.
Okay.
You were truly born for greatness. No matter what your circumstances are, what your past experiences have been, you were born for greatness. This is in your DNA. This is in your potential, in your destiny to be great, to experience the absolute freedom, inner freedom, no matter what's happening on the outside. To feel that you know how to be with any situation, no matter what's happening, because you have the internal wisdom to come back to and rely on your internal GPS system. You can experience infinite peace and love because that's who you are, and abundance. And I want to finish with the quote from Marianne Williamson. Your greatest fear is not that you are inadequate. Your greatest fear is that you are powerful beyond measure. Yeah, if any of you feeling a calling, a pull, a tag, like feeling in your heart that there's something there, I would like to receive. Why not? This is a free session that I'm offering you, so if you haven't yet, go ahead and pull that link. And it is my honor, and I know that this is my mission, personal mission, is to help as many conscious seekers like you. I know we've been on this path for a while, to help awaken to the next level of light and service to humanity, because it is through each one of our lights becoming more bright that we can heal the planet and bring healing to humanity, bring those ripples into the world.
Are you going to teach yoga? Are you going to teach yoga?
Am I?
Yes.
Yes.
You're going to tell us when, where.
See, you ask, I just learned how, I say yes. I say yes.
Yes, we know that.
Right. How are your takeaways? I'd love to hear. Any takeaways? Oh, come. What are your big takeaways or inspirations or shares?
Well, I think for me, it definitely helped identify more of like the root of my trauma or what I'm like really feeling. And then also it's going to be more of like a desire to like break through things that have just like been sitting there or that I've been trying to like adapt to, but just like facing them and like exploring like how long they've been sitting there kind of in a freedom. So I really enjoyed it.
beautiful inquiries and questions. That's one of the questions I ask whenever there's something in the body that feels, those of you who know, I ask how long, asking that place in the body, how long have you been there? And what are you? What are you about? What is your method? What are you trying to teach me? Because anything that feels off, it's something trying to teach you and get your attention. And it's our job is to listen and bring our attention to it.
I just want to thank Yulia and thank everyone for being here and participating. Did John get something out of this today?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yes, yes. I did too. Thank you so much.